How we doing there, boys and girls? Mantis here and welcome back to another video. So today it's time to talk about the PTR changes. There have been some subtle changes and some new things for us profession goblins. Now, unfortunately, Blizzard seems to dislike me today and they're not going to let me on the PTR for whatever reason. I log on, I get onto the server, I press the load character and instantly get disconnected. Not quite sure, it happened multiple times. I'll try and fix it for the next video, but for today it means that we have to rely on yoldy faithful data miners out there. So we've got a Wowhead article. Wowhead put together a bit of information about some of the new materials, and I want to just go through this ever so quickly and pitch in with a few other things that they missed. So first and foremost, let's take a look. They've data mined several new profession items. There's a bunch of them. Before you get too excited though, most of them are not that exciting. They do seem to have the opinion though that this is the first round of new items and they expect a whole bunch of new enchants, consumables, raid buffs to be added before the patch goes live. Now, I'm going to reiterate, these are Wowhead's words. This is entirely speculation. I can't see any reason to how they could have indicated this to be the case, but of course we can still keep our fingers crossed for that to be the case going forward. But let's look at Alchemy then. Alchemy's had a few new items. Anybody that's an alchemist now will remember that when you are leveling up your alchemy, similar to how scribes get to mill herbs, alchemists now have the ability to grind them down and you get these ground variations of the different herbs. Now for the most part this goes into your daily cooldown, which is for the Shadestone, but anybody that's done that on a regular basis will know that the demand for Shadestone is very dependent on the raid schedule. As and when the raid is new and it's big and it's exciting and people are still smashing their way through it, the likelihood is that there's a good business around these Shadestones. But at this sort of point in the patch where most people are done with their raiding for the tier, the Shadestone daily transmutation kind of drops off. This might be another way to utilize some of those ground materials in terms of the fact that you make these Blossom Burst, Glory Burst, Marrow Burst, Torch Burst and Widow Burst. Now these, the tooltips on Wowhead actually don't seem to be correct for these. These are basically designed to paint a person in a different color. It's just it's a cosmetic thing. It doesn't really do a huge amount, but it does tell me a few things. It tells me that Blizzard actually do have plans for this grounding of the herbs system that they implemented. Maybe they just didn't have time to do whatever it is that they really wanted to do with it before patch 9.0 went live. So maybe they're looking to do something with it now in patch 9.1. Additionally, one thing that Wowhead did manage to miss with this is that there is actually a new transmute for Alchemy. If we jump over here ever so quickly, you'll see there's a new transmute called Stones to Ore. This is a 1-day cooldown apparently by the looks of things, and it's going to use some of the porous stone and the shaded stone. Maybe this is a cheaper, easier, off-season transmute for the alchemists out there. The amount of materials we're going to get from this, we don't know yet. As soon as I can get onto the PTR, make one of these and open the bag, I'll be able to tell you in more detail. But as it stands right now, there's the daily transmute. You take a few of the basically free materials. If you go look on the auction house right now for porous stone and for shaded stone, they will pretty much be free. Within a gold or two maybe at the most. Grab a couple of those, transmute it into this bag of, what do you get, a shaded bag of ore. It's only time will tell what this actually contains. It would be kind of cool if there was a chance for it to drop all of the different zone ores, but my estimation is that it will probably be a few pieces of lacerite. I don't imagine this will be a huge amount, but if you happen to be a miner and you don't really know what to do with the porous stone and the shaded stone that you pick up whilst going and doing your mining, maybe send it all over to your alchemists, and over time you can convert it slowly but surely using your alchemists, turning it into something more useful. So that's basically all we've got for Alchemy so far. There is some cooking changes. There's 3 new recipes for cooking. One, a porous rock candy, a tasty treat that gives just a good mood buff. doesn't seem to do a huge amount at the moment. We have a bone meal bread, which is utilising some of the spare pallid bones that's kicking about, along with a bunch of vendor materials. Not too exciting though, just quite simply, at least at this moment in time, restores 30,000 health over 20 seconds. Whoop-de-doo. Not a huge play. It's not going to be in demand, I can certainly tell you that much. And very similar with Twilight Tea. Restores simply 40,000 mana. Now, my thoughts with this. After looking at these for a couple of minutes, I came to the conclusion that these are probably almost like a catch-up system, right? Not that cooking is super expensive or super complicated to level up as it stands right now. There are some periods within it where you might need like to go get some ribs, or you might need to go do some fishing, that sort of thing. The likelihood is that these are just going to sit somewhere in the middle and just make the leveling of cooking quicker and easier. Imagine these to just be what I genuinely consider to be basically vendor trash, to be honest, unless they just haven't decided what the flavorful part of this is going to be yet. That's always a possibility, but they are using super basic materials. Twilight bark, which is it's in limited quantity, but it is a vendor item. Alternatively, twilight bark is mined when mining Phaedrum in Ardenworld, I believe. And additionally, the bone meal bread is just another use for this pallid bone. Pallid bone, once again, is another one of these materials. If you jump on the auction house, it's basically free. Stupidly cheap, maybe a couple of gold a piece. Usually people can't get rid of them fast enough. Maybe it's just a sink for some of these materials. We don't know at this point. Let's hope, though, that there is, like Wowhead seemed to predict, there is some more stuff to come on top of this. And this is just the start of a new batch of cooking recipes. That would be pretty cool. Inscription, we do have our new vances rune. The vances rune has been data mined for the Sanctum of Domination. No real surprises how this works, just gives you a huge versatility boost. Can only be used against a single boss, but it lasts for the entire week. Vances rune, vances rune. If you the trick with the vances runes is always exactly the same. If you're an active raider and you can get into the raid and you can get this pattern quickly enough, craft a bunch up, get them on the auction house. They sell really, really well. Simple stuff. And last but not least, we do have a couple of new leatherworking toys, believe it or not. Interesting that they're choosing to give leatherworking toys. Odd. But once again, these feel to me to be very alternative leveling route sort of things, almost to give a sort of a catch-up mechanism to the leveling of leatherworking. If we look at, where is it? We've got one here, the Pallid Oracle of Bones. This thing allows you to consult the bones to learn your future. We crafted one of these on the PTR today. Maybe I'll throw some video footage up on screen for you now to watch. We crafted one of these and it did very little. It literally, all it did was give you some text in the chat window. Nothing huge, nothing great. Maybe it has some cool interaction with something in Shadowlands. Maybe the secret finding community can do some digging and see what they can find out. But this, you pick it up at level 50. Skill level 50 when leveling up your leatherworking. You'll craft probably a few of these until it goes orange or maybe green at 60 and then move on to something else. The second toy we get is the Pallid Bone Flute. This is just, quite simply, another flute. We've seen flutes in the game before. You usually stand there, you do your fluty business, and it makes people around you do some dancing. This one apparently plays a haunting melody, inspiring those around you to dance. 10-minute cooldown. Picked up at leatherworking 75. As you can see, once again, by the difficulty, it's orange at 75. It will turn yellow at 80, and by 85 you'll no longer gain skill points for this. It's probably just something that's going to be really cheap. Once again, 20 pallid bones is probably implemented to be a cheaper alternative to maybe crafting 151 gear or something like that. That's not going to be super valuable to you at that point in time. But a couple of new toys are cool. Collectors out there will be happy. So there it is, boys and girls. There's not a huge amount about the professions as it stands right now. As and when I can get myself onto the PTR and do some digging around, I will do so. I'm going to hope that the servers kind of fixed themselves a little bit. I don't think it was just localized to me. Whilst we were testing this on stream, there were viewers of the stream that were also struggling to get onto the PTR. As I'm mentioning the stream, we do live a lot of our gold making testing and research over at twitch.tv/Manthius, so pop over, say hi, and we'll all have a good time. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. If you like this kind of style of video, remember to hit the like button. It really helps my channel grow. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.